right, people. Xbox has a problem and it's getting harder to ignore because Obsidian, one of their biggest RPG studios, just had multiple games reportedly miss sales expectation. And that's wild, people. This is the team behind Fallout, New Vegas, Pillars of Eternity, and some of Xbox's most important upcoming projects. So the question becomes, how are these games not selling the way they should? And what does this mean for Xbox entire Game Pass RPG feature going forward? Because this isn't just about Obsidian. This could be a bigger warning sign for Xbox. So let's talk about this.
Are you not entertained?
Here's why this is such a big deal. Obsidian is supposed to be one of Xbox's crown jewels, the studio that delivers the big, deep RPG experience that PlayStation, quote unquote, doesn't really focus on. But when you hear that titles like Avowed and The Outer Worlds 2 didn't hit sale targets, it raises a serious issue. Is it the games? Is it the marketing? Or is Game Pass changing how people actually buy Xbox quote unquote exclusives? Because if players assume everything would just be quote unquote free on subscription that you already pay a very hefty amount for, that could hurt the long-term value of these releases. Xbox needs these studios to be wins, not just critically, but commercially. This is happening at the exact same time Xbox is trying to prove it can compete with Sony's blockbuster machine release windows. So the real fallout is, if Obsidian can't break through with sales, what does that mean for Xbox strategy going forward? Is this just a bump in the road or the start of a much bigger problem? Let's talk about it. All right, so let me quickly recap. Obsidian confirmed that two of their recent RPG releases, Avowed and The Outer Worlds 2, did not meet sales expectations. This sparked headlines that the studio is not currently planning The Outer Worlds 3, despite the franchise being popular. Instead, they're focusing on other projects, including more works in the Avowed Pillar universe. Obsidian is quote unquote not in crisis. This is where word salad really starts coming through. They're still expanding, quote unquote. Important context, this is not layoffs or shutdown news. Obsidian still has multiple projects in development. They framed it as a learning moment, not a disaster. Word salad. PC Gamer even noted the studio's future still looks positive overall. Word salad. All right, so like I said, Obsidian missing sale expectation is a big red flag. No matter how you paint it or frame it, this is one of Xbox's most important RPG studios. If their games underperform, that's a serious issue. Like I said, Xbox needs Obsidian to be a system seller studio. Studios like Obsidian are supposed to deliver must-play exclusive that drives hype, subscription, and console value. Game Pass might be, it's hurting fucking sales. There's no way to get around the Game Pass issue. If players expect everything to drop on Game Pass, few people may actually buy these games outright. And honestly, as long as you're playing for Game Pass, why would you feel entitled to? Marketing plus hype might be breaking through. Even good RPGs can struggle if they don't feel like a major cultural moment or aren't marketing aggressively. But I don't think that was the case. These games were marketed. Let's not fool ourselves. Xbox has a whole marketing department. These raises bigger questions about Xbox strategy. Like I said, even top studios aren't selling in 2026. What does that say about Xbox long-term plan compared to Sony's blockbuster exclusive approach? Fallout. What happens next for Obsidian? Do they shift focus, change project scopes, double down on sequels? This could impact the future RPG output from the studio. So I'll turn it over to my cousin and he can give his opinion. But I am very concerned. I just want to point out that this is one of many studios that Xbox back in the day, when they just had what felt like unlimited big dick daddy money, went out and bought at, I feel and still feel, and it's coming clearer and clearer every day, that they bought at the top of the market and overpaid for a lot of these studios. I'm looking at you, Bethesda, because it is not saying Obsidian is anything like Bethesda, that is a dumpster fire entire trash can. Fuck Tom and everything he stands for at the moment because he does nothing but lie to developers. But I'm just saying, Xbox, all of these purchases, even their indie studios in 2026, is just not panning out. And like I said, I feel like Microsoft came to Xbox like, hey, you motherfuckers' jobs are on the line and y'all need to get in the black. And I say quick, fast, and in a hurry. And we talking about right now. So this is not good. But at the same breath that I say that, I don't know what Microsoft or Xbox expect with Game Pass. I already said I feel like they are losing money on Game Pass, quote unquote. That's why the price increase happens, and there is rumors that another increase will happen. But I just don't understand how they can say this and have these headlines about, but this is their strategy. So you kind of kill the product on arrival. So I don't know, but I'll turn it over to my cousin so he can give his 2 cents.
There's a lot more to digest in this news than just 2 games underperforming. We're going to say that in air quotes. And I'm going to break it down, but I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. So, for one, Avowed was not the promised game we were sold. When Avowed was originally shown off, it was dark, it was gritty, dark fantasy. They were touting similar as to Skyrim. I mean, the product that came out was this bright starburst color, rainbow flag looking fucking thing with weird kind of drag queen makeup with the godlike thing, whatever they have on it. That was not what we were promised and sold. It is well known that Avowed had development problems. The story was shifted and rebooted once or 2 times. That's problematic. That's one. Outer Worlds 2. People enjoyed the first Outer Worlds. I enjoyed it. Obsidian is seen as the quintessential RPG darling. That's what they're good at. They make RPG games, and their games have not always been on such a grand scale. They've kind of been before Microsoft bought them. More of an indie-ish, more of a niche type of RPG developer. And Microsoft bought them, and they had, I won't say unlimited funds at their resources, because people have come out and said, it is not like that. You just have to kind of ask and see how things go, and you'll get what you need. But it seems that when Obsidian was purchased by Microsoft, and Microsoft has had this problem, not just with Obsidian, but with all their studios, they're very lackadaisy. They're very hands off. Every studio has reported the same thing. It is a lack of support, a lack of real concrete leadership, and things just kind of fumble in turmoil until someone finally comes in and be like, hey, the fuck are you kids doing? They made a lot of course correction. They made a lot of course correction with the Outer Worlds 2 from the first one. People felt its story, how they went about it, was kind of weird, how that was the satire you tried to go with, the corporation overtaking, etc. When it's like, okay, is that not where Microsoft is to you guys? Being bought out, etc. That's one of the issues, Microsoft and how they handle things, and even studio development handle. That's problem number one. I also want to add this last thing, we can move this on. I believe it's by Obsidian's own metrics they feel these games have underperformed. And that's on them. Also want to add, Avowed launched only on Xbox. So that was them hurting themselves. It is now, I believe, about to launch on PlayStation. So maybe they can catch up on some of the sales they lost. You put it on only on Xbox, it's physical. I mean, there is no physical release. It's digital only, and it's on Game Pass. Hardcore Xbox fans, the real hardcore who will buy that next gen Xbox for a ride or die, fuck Sony ponies. They have Game Pass. They will not purchase. Why would they spend $30 a month for access to the game and then go spend $70 to buy it? It's absurd, and it ain't happening. So
math don't math.
It's sad to hear. The math don't math, and it's sad to hear this, because I was happy that they made Outer Worlds 2. They gave you a third person option. I don't know what the fuck this obsession shit is with first person RPGs. Like, I don't get it. But it's sad it won't be an Outer Worlds 3. But hey, they were purchased to feed Game Pass, and that's what they're doing. So, oh well.
And my cousin is exactly right. And we're kind of, it's the same tug on the same issue. Like I said, I don't think Game Pass has ever been profitable. I just don't know what you expect. Why would you think somebody that spends money on Game Pass would ever then go buy these games outright? Like, that's the whole point in the dream that you sold. So I just don't understand what Microsoft, Xbox, and Obsidian expected the numbers to be, quite honestly. And like I said, I feel like Xbox has bought a lot of these studios at the top of the market, overpaid, and
What the fuck?
that's kind of how they sitting on this shit, and it's not bringing the return, and they getting a lot of pressure from Big Daddy, who bank account has closed up, and I think they're really facing the facts that
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
like, I think that is what Xbox and Microsoft is facing in 2026 with the Game Pass in these studios. Like I said, Bethesda is a fucking trash can studio. Fuck Tom, fuck everything they stand for. Now, I'm not saying Obsidian has been moving nasty or moving dirty, but I just, like my cousin said, I feel like, and this is not a Bethesda topic, but everybody has questioned why hasn't Microsoft and Xbox have been more hands-on with these studios? Like, they bought these studios and they kind of told them, hey, everything you was doing before, keep doing it and just make us money and we'll see you in 5 years. I just don't, no, not with this Game Pass strategy. When you bought these studios, you only told them, hey, make these games for us, and our only requirement is that they have to go on Game Pass day one. And that's why the whole Call of Duty Activision shit is crazy. Like, and the owner or the previous maker, whoever did, like, high executive, he was like, bro, we're losing so much money putting this shit out on Game Pass day one. What are you're cannibalizing the product. So I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna just end it like this. I don't know what Microsoft, Xbox, or Obsidian expected. I don't know what numbers or why they even put high volume sales out. Why would you dig that hole? And I just don't understand. And maybe somebody can get in the comments and maybe shed some light on some aspects we don't know and we didn't cover. But let me just leave you with this. Is this just Obsidian having a rough patch right now, a rough launch, and kind of taking some unexpected L's that's really not their fault at the end of the day? Or is Xbox entire model starting to crack at the seams before our very eyes with this whole Game Pass debacle that is a debacle that's not profitable at the end of the day? Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you there.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?